Let's talk about the all-important paths and anchor points. Let's see them, let's move them around, and let's talk about the two very important tools in Illustrator, and those would be the black arrow tool and the white arrow tool. They both have their purposes. So let's take a peek. Let's go into Illustrator. I have this document open. Um, and we'll talk about shapes soon. And in the next video, I think we'll talk about fill and stroke. Very important concepts. But for now, I'm just going to select the circle or ellipse tool, and I'm just going to drag and make a circle. And there you go. And I click my black arrow tool. The black arrow tool is used to move objects. And up here, this thing here, you'll see it whenever you select an object, and it's called the bounding box. And with the bounding box, you can resize objects just by dragging in or dragging out, or you can go to a side and make it skinnier or shorter, whatever you want to do. That's the bounding box. And if you go to the view drop down menu, you can turn that off so you don't see the bounding box. Sometimes I find it useful, sometimes not. But I go back to view bounding box. Where is it? Show bounding box. There you go. So the black arrow tool is used to select entire objects and move them around. And with any object, with the black arrow tool selected, you can copy and paste an object, or if you hold your option key down on the Mac or the Alt key down on the PC and drag the object, that will duplicate the object, and that works in almost every art program. So there we go. There we go. Now we've got some circles here. Now, paths are the lines that go around an object, and wherever there's a curve, there is an anchor point. And let's see what the little anchor points look like. That's where the white arrow tool would come in. Now, if I click on an object, and let's zoom in, or maybe not. Yeah, here we go. If I hold down on my hand tool in the toolbar, it will show me the zoom tool. And I can click, and I'm just going to click, and zoom in so I can see better. For what it's worth, if you hold down on the zoom tool in the toolbar and go to the hand tool, whenever you double click the hand tool, it shows you your entire screen. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go back to the zoom tool and click. I'm zooming in, but if I hold the option key down or the alt key on the PC, then it gives me a negative zoom, so I can zoom in or zoom out. Okay, so I'm zoomed in. I'm going to get the white arrow key and come over here and click. Notice how when I hover over the edge of the object, it's kind of hard to see, but it says path. Those little purple letters, it says that's a path, and if I click it, then if I hover over this little square here, it says anchor. That is an anchor point. And there are anchor points wherever there's a curve. So if I click an anchor point, it turns blue in this case, and I can drag it up and resize the object. That's how you move around anchor points. And I call these little handles right here, I call them love handles, because that's how you manipulate the curve. You can drag them in or out, and they're fun to play with. And so I can click this one and drag it in and out and manipulate its curve. These are paths and anchor points. Okay, so it could be that I want to select this anchor point and this anchor point, and I could do that by hovering over each one and shift click on multiple anchor points. Or I know that there's one here and one there, and I can just kind of make what we call a marquee selection. So now I've selected both anchor points, and now when I drag with the white arrow tool, I'm moving both anchor points. Now, way at the top of the screen up here in the View drop-down menu, the first option up here is Outline. And if I go to Outline, it gets rid of all the color of everything, and all you can see is the paths and the anchor points that make up the objects. And so you can actually go into this mode, and you can be in a situation in Illustrator where your images are quite complex and it's hard to see where the paths and anchor points are. But if I go up there into outline mode, then I can come in, select individual anchor points, drag the love handles, drag the anchor points, drag multiple anchor points, and there you go. To go back into color mode, I go to View, GPU, Preview. And that brings my color back, and that's the difference between the black arrow tool. I'm going to double click the hand tool. So with the black arrow tool, I click an object, it selects all of the anchor points, or I can make a marquee selection on multiple objects and drag multiple objects. There you go. That's a little introduction to paths and anchor points. And in a video soon to come, we'll start creating things with a magical tool called the Bezier pen tool. But I believe the next video we will go into a very important part of Illustrator, and that is selection and fill and stroke.